Hello Internet! I'm HamsterBomb and you are watching another figure review video, and this time I've got an amazing Tigrex Revoltech figure, and it is absolutely insane. This thing is so incredible. I actually had him posed with the new and improved Revoltech stand. It is amazing! The horribleness is gone! All of the terror that I've said in all the past Revoltech stand videos. Oh my gosh, it's over. It is over and it is fixed, and honestly, this is the best stand I have for any figure. That's how big of a jump this is. I know I just immediately jumped and started raving about the stand, but it's that good! It is that freaking good! And the Tigrex is amazing too. Oh yeah, that too. This guy's a cool guy too. We will talk about him, but as you all know from all of my figure review stuff, I like to save the best for last, which means Tigrex, you're going to have to get put on hold for just a moment, and we're going to take a look at all of the extra goodies that we will get with Tigrex. First off, since I already started talking about it, let's take a look at the actual stand itself. For the most part, this is actually going to move and look a whole lot like a Figma stand, except it's actually a little bit more sturdy, which is kind of crazy. This is like one of, like I said, the best stands I've ever had. There's 3 pivot joints, as you see right here, and it actually starts in the middle here, so there's no, Figma branding and, what I'm used to with the other kind of stands, though it does say very small on the bottom, Kaiyodo, which is awesome, because if any of you guys have seen my Pokemon TFG videos, Kaiyodo is the amazing sculpting company behind those figures, and yes, has actually sculpted the Tigrex, which is freaking believable. It is so good. So, anyway, this is like one of the best stands I've ever had. The weight is completely balanced in here. And this claw part at the top, yes, it's very similar to other like Figma claw things, and D-Arts is more like it. But the thing is that makes this great is this thing right here. It's like what all the other ones needed, something to balance the weight as you grab it. It's amazing. So you're gonna get the best stand in the freaking world with this Tigrex. Aside from that, you will also get another stand, which the Focus said, no, I don't like that stand, because it's not nearly as good as the other one. This is just one where you put a peg in his foot and have him stand if you want to stand him on the ground, but if you're going to stand him on the ground, just stand him on the ground, but this gives him a little bit more support if you do need it. Other stand's way cooler. Anyway, you're also going to get 2 of these little hunter characters. One of them is your feline Palico buddy, who is actually quite small. If you want to paint him, have at it. Have fun with that. You can see all the little grimy details in my fingers because of how close we're getting on this guy. He's very small to be sized properly with the hunter that he comes with, who is holding a disproportionately enormous greatsword, which makes no sense at all, but whatever, because Monster Hunter. This guy, once again, I would never go through the effort of actually painting him. What I do with these figures, because they actually don't feasibly fit with the actual monster, like he's way too small to go with the Tigrex, I put him with my figure builders, because these little things tend to be sized much better with the figure builders than they do the actual figures. So, next we have one last part that you're going to be getting with the Tigrex, which is this. This, you can pop the end of his tail off and make it severable if you so choose to do so. But the thing is, Tigrex can do so many other crazy poses where he's like desperately trying to kill you. Though I was very upset that the Zinogre's tail could not sever. I've never actually done this yet, so I don't know. Maybe because I had to dig it out and find it, I might do that again. We'll see. But now we can move on to the main event, the Tigrex. Psych, we're going to be looking at the box instead. I forgot to show you the box, guys, I know. This box is actually really crazy, and I do want to point out quickly a better way to find this Tigrex, because I remember I was kind of having issues when I kept looking up Revoltech. It is technically not Revoltech. I don't know if the company has changed names or this is like a different combination, like 2 companies to come together to do this, but the thing is the last 2 or several Monster Hunter Revoltech figures were the Revoltech. More than likely it's like a company name change. You guys can tell me down in the comments, because honestly I don't know what the heck was going on there, but you want to search this. You want to search the Monhan Revo powered by Revoltech, so it is technically different, like I said, so not sure exactly what is going on down there. Try and Google some of this stuff if you're trying to find a better price on this guy, because if you search Revoltech, you find a higher price, as opposed to the one where you search Monhan Revo. So, anyway, we're taking a look at the box art, and he looks like kind of blown out, but I really like the big open V. Oh, it's so cool, V. opening in this box is really nice. The design of this thing just looks a lot cooler than a lot of the other Revoltech stuff. It's like everything I kind of made fun of Revoltech for was like they're just the okay figure company. I mean, it's okay. They're not amazing. There's so many much better companies out there, but all of a sudden they just stepped up their game and they made some awesome stuff. So this is the side of the box. Some gold font as well as another blown out Tigrex, but it's got some really cool textures going on it, so it's totally cool looking. Or it just kind of looks like, you know, the front one looks like someone was playing with Photoshop filters. This one looks like they went through some effort and made, like, you know, a granite or marble looking, marble texture overlay, so whatever. We already saw the bottom, and on the other side, I think it just continues, that just continues this art with a little bit more information over there. So, on to the back, I'm going to show you down to the bottom. We already saw a lot of those. Actually, we saw all that stuff already, so that is cool. And now all we really got is just some interesting pictures of the Tigrex himself. I'm going to try and get you guys some close-ups without making a total fool of myself. Here we go. So there's a whole lot that this Tigrex can do. Obviously, the Revoltech gives it a lot of maneuverability already. But the thing is, as soon as you implement that stand, things like that jump back there are actually feasible. You saw when we started, I just casually had him up on top of that stand, and it was okay. You can do that, because one, it's pretty well balanced where you can place him on that thing, and, you know, it's just like the best stand ever, if I haven't said it enough. That stand, like, if you're unsure about getting this guy, the stand sells it. You can use the stand for freaking anything. That stand is freaking amazing. I'm sorry. Let's go into the Tigrex, I swear. Alright guys, now let's take a look at the Tigrex itself, and oh my god, I was so excited when they announced this thing, because Tigrex is like one of those monsters where I'm like, yeah, that works as a figure. That's one of those monsters that just comes after you to freaking maul you. He's freaking crazy all the time, like poses where he's just, you know, like sprawled out, just flying, jumping at you. That is definitely the kind of figure that Monster Hunter needed to make. So very, very glad that they ended up choosing Tigrex for their next one. Because I was actually thinking more than likely they're going to be picking the Gormagala, because they had actually built the armor figure of a Gormagala, which kind of fit their pattern of build the armor Rathalos, build the Rathalos, build the armor's an ogre, build as an ogre, build the armor Gormagala. Surprise, you get a Tigrex. That's what they decided to do, which, heck, I'm cool with it. Though a Gormagala one would be amazing too. But either way, let's take a look at this Tigrex right here in terms of his posability and such. Because, like I said, he's pretty crazy. First of all, the only complaint I have with this Tigrex is the fact that his jaw, when closed, as you can see right here, looks a little silly. Kind of derping to the side. I don't know why that is. There's probably some part in here where he's got like a double joint, and I can't quite figure out how to fix it. So, till that happens, there we go. Him and us. All of his derpality, which shouldn't happen ever. Tigrex can open his jaw, obviously, very, very wide. In the game, he almost goes that far. Like, that's... yeah, Tigrex can seriously do that in the game, so that's not too unfeasible. And it looks good from your angle. You look at it from some other angles, and it's not so great, but yeah, try and look at it, you know, from very specific angles. Otherwise, all of a sudden, he's going to start looking kind of weird. You can also, as you see there is like a double ball joint. Alright, not a double ball joint. I'm not sure what those joints are actually called, but, like, it has two different joints on the... It's very versatile. I don't know what you call these joints, I'm sorry. But anyway, the jaw can obviously move quite a bit. Goes two joints away in movement because there's two joints in there. Also, the tongue does move. For those of you who like playing with Tigrex tongues, you are not going to be disappointed. The neck itself is on several joints right here, though it's going to start taking his head with it. Now, it can look up about that far and look down about that far. So it's a decent amount of movement, and as you can see, the spikes kind of look a little weird when you do that. So he's kind of sculpted to be looking up, which honestly, most of the time, that's how Tigrex stands anyway, so that is good. Except for that one where we saw him jumping in the air and looking down at you, in which case you'd be seeing him more than likely from like this kind of angle. So very, very good, because that would be hidden. As you can see right here, this is actually starting to be exposed, so I'm going to pop it right off as you can see that. that is how the whole this is popping together. It's just a bunch of ball joints put together. My Tigrex actually started falling apart very quickly as I was doing this. I was putting them together before, and I was like, oh my god, like every single piece of this guy is just slowly falling off, and yeah, it's kind of scary, because mainly it's this piece right here is very loose. It's very loose, like, normally, and when I was just, messing around with them, trying to get the figure to work, that piece is, like, always loose and feels weird. Maybe it's just mine. I hope not. Sorry, I hope so that yours is fine, but, I kind of hope not, obviously, for my sake, so that my figure is not messed up in any way at all. So, we've gotten through the neck. It's got a little bit of side-to-side movement, not too much, decent amount. The head obviously can rotate because you saw what it was just pegged on. Onto the chest, it really doesn't move outside of the area where it goes down to the waist. The chest is mainly one piece. It's for connecting these giant arms too. So let's just go one arm at a time. There's more Revoltech joints in the shoulder, which can be either rotated or moved, and that's about the kind of movement you're going to get just out of the shoulder. And that next portion here that goes to his elbow, I'm going to move that out of the way so you can actually see that a little bit better. This is just one piece, this whole thing here. This is not rubbery plastic too much. I mean, it's kind of stiff. So there's that. The fact that there is yet another one of these Revoltech things here is, decent for getting the kind of move all the way from here to about there. So quite a lot of movement in that thing. The only problem is if you were making him, stand like that, there's like two spikes of his wing as opposed to it looking more fluid like this, where actually I believe that one's supposed to go in front because it looks a little bit better. But obviously going back and forth so many times, you end up not seeing it. We're also not even really talking about the detail. This is like the most detailed figure I have seen from Revoltech probably ever, actually. Now that I get, like, super close to, like, this wing, like, just looking at the scales in this thing, and there's my finger, so for, like, a little bit of size comparison. It's decently sized. Like, here's my hand back here. So he's pretty big, and for how detailed he really is, it's crazy, especially the colors. I love the colors. As you guys saw, I chose the normal Tigrex because I love his color scheme of the orange and yellow, or yellow-blue. It's just awesome. I love it. The Brute Tigrex is pretty cool, and honestly, a friend of mine is probably going to be getting it, and the Molten Tigrex is also a really awesome paint job as well. But if I had to pick one, I had to pick this one, just because I love the color scheme. Plus, it'd be feeling a little weird if I had a subspecies. I just kind of wanted the original Tigrex. So, enough, I don't know, trailing off and going to nowhere. I really like the details that they sculpted all over this thing. Kaiyodo did a freaking fabulous job, as they always do. Anything with their name on it, yes, it is done very well. As far as I can tell, I mean, I've never seen anything with, poor Kaiyodo quality. But anyway, as you can see that I was kind of playing with him this entire time. His paws have movement as well. I'm going to move it all the way down here for you. That is about as far down as it'll go. Obviously, it'll twist. These are all Revoltech joints. And it can go up to about here. Cannot really go any higher than that. So that's fine because it still seamlessly integrates with his arm when you actually go up there and move it all the way down. Yes, it exposes it, but more than likely you're going to be opening it up as like a jump claw attack where it then seamlessly integrates with this. Obviously, there's two holes here. For that other stand I showed you beforehand, the brown one, that's, another joint that we're already aware of. Isn't that right, Taggy Boo? Yes, you are. There's another one of these in-between joints, I feel like, right here. Kind of hard for me to point at and show you. I'm going to bend his waist a bit to show you. There you go. See that? This is actually rubbery plastic, this part. The other parts, surprisingly, the wings, and these are rubbery plastic too, now that I feel them. That's actually kind of weird that this is rubbery plastic and the wings are not. Maybe it's just because they could sculpt a little bit more detailed on them, and that these didn't, like, spike you all the time and actually hurt you, which is probably pretty it is pretty generous for them, because I've got some figures, current logon, that really hurt me all the time when I try and change their poses, and because of that, they tend to stay in the same pose all the time. And now that I keep holding him, it's actually this piece is the one that's stubborn for me, that likes to swing around a lot. But it's okay because, I mean, once I move it, it stays where it was. And it just kind of helps me angle where the scales go. So anyway, once again, going off on divergent trail paths of, leading to no end. There's yet another Revoltech joint in the middle of his waist, and it can get about that much movement out of it, which is great. Same deal we're going to get for these legs back here. There's going to be one in the hip. Right now it's kind of facing there, so that's about as high up as it'll go. And that's about as low as it'll go, and obviously you can rotate there. So I'm going to put it back up. The leg here has a decent amount of movement. That's about all the movement you're really going to get out of it. Nice touch of orange here behind the leg as well. This paw is a little weirder and harder to work with. This one goes up about there and down to about there, which looks kind of awkward. Getting these back legs to really look good is kind of a challenge based on their angle, because he's like always standing sideways with them, but I mean that's just kind of how he walks, it's how he moves. I mean, you never really see the sides of Tigrex, you always see this, and more closely you see that. That is what you see when you see Tigrex. You don't see the sides of his legs. So when we actually get back there and take a look at them, yeah, they're a little awkward sometimes, and getting him to pose right with them sometimes when they are visible is a little weird. So he's got looks like three of these joints back here in the tail. I was kind of tightening mine a bit because it was, as you can see, a little loose. This goes up and down. There's unfortunately only like 3 clicks in there, and that's all he can get. 2, 3, 4 actually. Get about the same amount of movement out of this one here. I'm not sure why mine is so loose actually. Kind of want to fix it, kind of cram it in there, and it still didn't do anything. The tip of the tail has yet another one of these things. I feel like this is a double. Yeah, it's probably what it is. It's a double, and I had mine facing up like that. And then when you face it back down again, it doesn't seem to want to lay out. But there's a tail all the way down. It can't really bend further down any more than that, because it's mainly looking great when you curl it up like this. Looks awesome. Plus, he takes up a little bit less space, which is nice. So, aside from that, you can, like I said, pop the tip of the tail off and completely sever it. And I'll do that here for you. Whoa! See, yeah, that thing is very loose, but hey, there goes that, which is all we needed. We're going to place this thing back on top, and I'm going to get the piece over here, which then sticks completely, actually this way's up, onto that peg that is then in his tail. And like I said before, I haven't done this yet. I'm doing it, honestly, first time on film. Okay, so you would do it with this ring there in the way, but what you really want to do is obviously stick it onto that, which is pretty hard to do. Unless there's an easier way, like, I could put that on top. Heck no. So, yeah, alright. So, severing the tail, easier said than done. But it can be done, supposedly. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. So, hopefully, at the very least, I can fix my Tigrex before the end of this video, so I can, chat with you guys a little bit more about him before we, totally lose interest, and I'm sorry about that. So, there we go. Alright, cool. So, this is really, really cool Tigrex figure. I really love it, mainly because he is basically, he's pretty much in scale with my Zinogre Revoltech, and my Hyblitz Rathalos. If it's like a gold crown huge Rathalos, you can call it as in scale. I call it in scale, fine. I enjoy it. They look great together. I actually had him in that pose you just saw before, kind of leaping at you, and I had him, Zinogre, and the Rathalos, and they were all fighting together, and it was awesome, awesome, awesome. And more than likely, I'm going to put him back in that pose, at the end of this video anyway. And this has been yet another amazing video. So all the Monster Hunter fans out there who really love Tigrex, this is an incredible figure, so you might as well get a good grab on him while he is still out there and pretty common, easy to come by. Especially because of that amazing base! No, it's mainly because the Tigrex itself is an amazing monster. He has an amazing sculpt with an amazing company, and his paint job is also very, very well done. There's a few weird quirks on him as I showed you through this video, but ignoring those things, Tigrex has come out fabulously, and this was definitely a good buy. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more, and I will see you all in the next figure review video and or Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Hunt. See ya!